There we go. All right, so welcome to Rewired for Success. Let's see who we have. We have Jarrett ML48. Yes, that's awesome. New Orleans, right? And then we got Gratitude Part 1 right before COVID lockdown. Oh my goodness. Awesome. And then Florida, we got Florida. And I don't see Nathan yet. Nathan, if you want to type in where you're from and Heidi, that would be awesome. Where you guys are at. So welcome to Rewired for Success. For those that don't know me, but it looks like some of you do. Most of you do, actually. I am Jo Englesson, and I'm going to facilitate this training today. And I'll tell you a little bit more about me and sort of my story later. But for now, we're actually going to just dive in. And here comes someone. So I'm going to be letting people in as we go here too, so just so you know. So let's define success. So it's called Rewired for Success, this 90-minute session. So let's define success as you winning in all areas of your life and creating extraordinary results. So, we're not going to define it based on what kind of result or what area. Success is you winning in all areas of your life and creating extraordinary results. So let me ask you a question. Do you want success, given how we just defined it? Raise your hand. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. And then, would you like to have more success than you have now? Raise your hand. Awesome. And then last but not least, would you like to have more success than you can even imagine? Raise your hand. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And why wouldn't we, right? So when I say more success than you can even imagine, what do you think I really mean by that? Let's take a look at that. So if you answered yes, I want more success than I can even imagine, what are we really saying? We're essentially saying that we're open to a possibility that exists somewhere in another realm, because in the realm that you can imagine, it doesn't exist, right? You can't imagine it. So like in your box or where you operate, in your beliefs, you can only imagine so much. We're actually limited. So simply by raising your hand and being willing to have something that you can't even imagine, you've actually entered the realm of possibility. You're now saying, hey, I don't even know what this looks like, but I want it. And you're now open. You're essentially saying that you're willing to explore a new you, like a new you, exploring a you that aligns with having something that doesn't even exist in your imagination, in your box, in your realm of possibility, given who you are and what you know today. So the reason I'm jumping into this right away is because for you to create as much value as possible during this training, you actually must be willing to kind of set aside what you know and suspend your disbelief in order to even have a choice to even gain some insight. And then when we're done, you can all go back to your old belief systems, values, boxes, whatever. But for this call, I ask that you remain open. So let's do a quick exercise that will illustrate this. So I'm going to put some equations on this slide here. And I want you to look at all of them. And I also want you to know that I'm really good at math. I finished like 6th grade's math books in 1st grade. I have a degree in mathematical economics. I'm good, okay? And I did all these equations that you can see here, and I did them all correct. So I'm saying I have 8 out of 8. But I'm going to let you guys grade me anyways. So if you guys in the chat could type in what you think my score is. Do you think it's 8 out of 8 correct? 5 out of 8, 6 out of 8, 2 out of 8, 7 out of 8, and type that in the chat. So I see someone says 7 out of 8. Then I know you might need some time to, some of you are like, math, I don't want to do math today. Heidi says 6 out of 8, 6 out of 8. Okay, so it looks like you are not really agreeing with what I'm saying. I changed to 6 out of 8, right? But I just want you to notice what your thoughts are. Like, just notice the first thought that comes in when I say the next sentence. All 8 equations are correct. They're accurate. I'm telling you that they're all correct, right? So just notice, do you not trust me? Do you think I'm tricking you? Do you think I'm right or wrong? Like I'm right and you're wrong? And no, sorry, that you're right and I'm wrong, right? Do you think I'm maybe you're getting annoyed, maybe you hate math. You're like, the moment I saw numbers on the screen, I'm like, I want out of here. Just notice your inner dialogue, like your inner conversation, okay? And then who's willing here to challenge me, or let's go over it. So any of you that said 6 out of 8, just raise your hand or just unmute yourself. Okay, Heidi, let's go. Hi, Heidi, how are you? Let's unmute you real quick. Okay. There you go. Okay, so you said I had 6 out of 8, correct?
That's what I said.
Okay, so which 2 would you say are not correct?
Based on what I know, the 11 plus 3 equals 2. I would get a different answer. And then the 2 minus 10 equals 4. If I did that, I would get a different answer. So those are the 2 that I have a different agreement about.
Okay. And now when I'm answering, I'm actually answering to all of you. And I'm telling you that 11 plus 3 is 2 and 2 minus 10 is 4, right? And so notice what comes up. That's all you got to do. So now, Heidi, when you did these, when you graded me, what like mathematical system, or what did you base it on? I mean, I heard you say like based on what I know. So based on like what you learned in school, or
right? Yep, just based on the information that I've had with math 50 years ago.
Okay. Well, so yeah, so if you were to actually do it based on the decimal math 10 base 10 decimal system, then yes, you're right. And so, but that's not what I was doing when I sat down to do these equations. So I was basing my equations on the clock when I did these. So like the clock number system. So 11 o'clock plus 3 hours would put us at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock minus 10 hours would put us at 4 o'clock. Okay. So let's give Heidi a chance, a hand. So I didn't set this up like to trick you or be right, like it might feel like it, but I actually set it up to illustrate a point. And the point is that in life, we don't always have all the information, right? And we base it on something that we know from the past or a belief or whatever, and we're certain that we're right or that we know something. And there's so many times in life where we have an assumption that we know, where the person or the people or the situation is coming from, and then we start acting from that assumption. When in reality, we don't always have all the answers. And we do this a lot in relationships, especially when we think we're really getting to know someone. That's when the trouble starts. When we think we're finally getting to know them, that's when the fighting starts. And it's because our assumptions start kicking in, and the person may not mean or say what we think that they're communicating, because we can only hear from our context, our box, our filter, right? And then we assume that we're right about it. And then we operate in an argument or in a conversation or in any situation from that. We think we know, right? But in our knowingness, we're actually assuming a bunch of stuff based on our interpretation or beliefs or perspective. So can you imagine, given that, how much we may be missing, living life from this perspective, from these assumptions, living life out of this perspective of, I know, and I'm right about what I know, even though we're actually basing it on some assumptions. And the reason I want to illustrate this right away is so that you can be, oh, okay, that's what she means by being open. So like be inquisitive, like be a fool, like don't know anything. Just listen to the information, take it in from a clear space. And then after the call, you're free to put on all your belief systems and what you know and do your thing. But just for this call, drop it. And then you'll create more value for yourself. So let's look at this in another way. So if we were to take all of the information, so some of you that have done the training have been at a guest event with gratitude in the past, you may have seen some of this, some of you may not have. So I'm just going to speak as if you haven't. So if we were to take all the knowledge and all the information that there is in the universe and represent it in this yellow circle, right? So all of it, like every single thing that you could possibly know, information in the whole world, universe, whatever, it's in this circle. And if you had to represent what you know out of that as a percentage, like in the circle, what percentage would you say that you know out of all the knowledge there is? And type that in the chat. So is it, 50%, 10%, 1%, 100%? Okay, so I see like 1%, 1%. So we all kind of agree that it's a pretty small fraction of this circle. So the way I'm going to represent it in this circle is just like as a sliver. And obviously it's not probably that big, but we got to be able to see it for the exercise. So now this is essentially the stuff that you know, right? You know it. So for instance, I know how to drive a stick shift. I know that I know how to speak Swedish. I know that I know how to make a phone call. I know how to get dressed in the morning, thank God. And so there are a lot of things that we just simply know that we know it, right? So we know it and we know it. Now there's also another part of your sliver or our sliver that is also within the realm of knowing. And that is, you know that you don't know it. Like you actually know that you don't know to do something. For instance, I know that I don't know how to fly an airplane. I know that I don't speak Russian. So I know that I don't know it. But it's still in the realm of I know, right? Either I know it or I know I don't know it. So this is still within the sliver that of your knowledge, like I know. Now, there's a 6-week training. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more later called Rewired for Peace. And also the training today is actually happening in the other space, outside of that sliver, outside of that box. And that's when you enter what we call the realm of possibility. Realm of possibility. So outside of what we know, there's this realm of possibility, this space of unlimited potential, like pure potentiality. And it's essentially saying, I don't know that I know it, and I don't know that I don't know it. So now we've moved into a space of I don't know. Like there are actually things inside our consciousness that we don't even know that we know, and that we don't even know that we don't know, right? And I'm sure you've all had an experience in life where you're like, oh, I didn't know I knew how to do that. That's so cool, right? And now you've expanded your sliver, right? And this is the space where the fun happens. This is where the real juice is. This is where the extraordinary and unimaginable success exists. And it's literally here and available to you already. And all it's going to take to access it is a shift in your mindset. That's it. It's that simple. You don't have to do a bunch of stuff. So it's not like, oh, that unimaginable success and those results are so far away. It's actually here, literally in front of you. And all it's going to take is a shift in the way that you look at yourself, the way you look at the world, your beliefs, your assumptions, and then be willing to be wrong about how you have it. And in some cases, maybe even be willing to be right about some of the things you have, because some things actually work for you. So how do we set goals in the realm of possibility? So when we start setting goals in the realm of possibility, and when you become committed to have them happen, it's actually going to require you to take a look at you and transform yourself. So many people today are like, well, what could I do differently? What could I do differently? What could I do? No, it's time to like go inside and like really see what you're producing from inside to have the results you have. And so it's going to require you to take a look at you and transform yourself. And I use the word transform because if we say change, we're saying, okay, I know that I don't speak Russian, so I'm going to take a course and learn it. No, now all you're doing is changing something within the I know and the the I know realm. That's not transformation. So setting goals and having them happen in the realm of possibility is going to require you to transform yourself so that you become the person that is the context or the vibration or the space for that result to show up. So essentially what I'm saying is if there are results that you want in your life and you don't have them yet, it just means that who you are is not congruent with the goals and visions you have. Because if you were, you would have already had it. So you're simply not just an environment or a context for the things that you want that you don't have yet. And that's, I'll say, you're not that yet. So the question is, how do we become that space? How do we become that? How do we like change our context? How do we set goals and have them happen in a space that is outside of our box? Well, that's why I say welcome to Rewired for Peace or Rewired for Success today, which is a sampling of my 6-week course, Rewired for Peace. And Rewired for Peace is essentially a proven system how to joyously level up, crush your goals, and leave a legacy without doing more or feeling overwhelmed. And so I know I just threw a lot at you right away. And I'm okay with that because I want you to be on your toes. And I want to acknowledge you for making the choice to be on this call. Because for some of you, it may be 9 a.m. in the morning. Otherwise, some of you might be having lunch. And I'm in Spain, and it's 6 p.m. or 6:30 now in the evening. So acknowledge yourself for being here, for handling whatever you needed to handle to make it to this call. Yay, Jared. And I want you, again, invite you to being an opening for something new, something that will inspire you today, something that you may have heard before, but you're going to hear it in a different way. And so that when you get off this call, your life is already altered and hopefully for the better, right? So I promise you that in some of the emails and when you sign up, that I would give you the key or formula for unlocking extraordinary results or an unimaginable success. So let's get started. Now, in order for any success to show up in the realm of possibility, you have to actually be the context or environment for it to exist. But before we explore what context is, let's take a look at vision, because underneath any extraordinary results or any success, it's critical that we have a solid and clear vision. So vision is like water for the success that like the success formula swims in, right? Or the context that the success formula needs to thrive. So I'm going to tell you a little story from my own life and what had me get clear on my vision. And I'll put it on gallery view. Speaker view. So I went from being a handbag saleswoman to essentially owning and operating a successful transformational training center in 5 cities in the US with a vision of awakening humanity and spreading gratitude in the world. And so in 2007, time flies. I just turned 52. In 2007, I was in what was called a transformational training that took place over 4 months. So it was like gratitude training, but it was called Summit Education. And when I was in the final part, which was the leadership portion of it, I was traveling. And I was traveling to see my brother for his wedding. And I just got to move the chat box so that I can see you guys while I'm talking. There we go. And I was traveling from Sweden to Florida, and I stopped in New York as a layover, and I was almost going to miss my flight. And I was like running, as fast as I could through the airport. And then as I got to the gate, right at my gate, I literally ran over with my body. I ran over this older gentleman, and he fell to the ground. And I was like, oh my God. And based on, like I said, I was in this transformational training, but I wasn't, complete yet. So I was kind of like a little bit still not that awake to my environment and also my worldview. And my worldview was that when you run over someone at an airport, especially the way I did it, they're going to be pissed off. right? So I started bracing myself and was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And he got up, this old man, cutest thing. He got up and he smiled at me and he was like, oh, no worries. I bet you do this all the time. Right. And then he just kind of walked away and had this little like veteran's hat on, and he walked away with his daughter and his granddaughter. And I stood there and I was like, wow, like he was this interruption to my own belief system. Like I was like, wow, the world doesn't have to be the way I have it. And I was so grateful in that moment that I wanted to give him something. Like I was like, what? Like I started looking in my pockets, like I'm going to hand him $1 or something. Like I obviously had nothing to give him, but I was so grateful. So I get on the plane, and I was sitting on the plane, and I was like, what if we actually had something in those moments of gratitude where, or even those moments of interruption, where someone just sort of does something that you don't expect and it actually alters your life? What if we had something like a physical, tangible object that we could give them in those moments? And so I was like a coin. Like, what if there was like a coin that said, like, thank you for making a difference in my day? And then I was like, oh yeah, a token of appreciation. And so in a moment, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to create tokens that you just give to people that make a difference in your life. And then I had a background then in computer science, and I come from an inventor family and all the stuff. And I was like, oh, what if we made them trackable? What if like we make them trackable online so that when you give it to someone, you can share the story online and then they can give it to someone else, and you can see how these tokens travel the world and spread joy and gratitude. And in that moment, something happened inside of me where I was just so clear on what it was that I wanted to do with my life. Like I just knew what my purpose was. My purpose was to spread love and gratitude in the world. And the vehicle at that point was tokens of appreciation. And like I said, I come from an inventor family, and I've invented so many things in my life, but I always stopped at like 80%. And then, 3 years later, I'm like, oh man, they have that now. And so, but this time it was different because I was now in this leadership portion of my training, and I had a team of people that were standing for me and that weren't going to sell out on me no matter what. And they probably knew me better than my family did because we had gone through this long journey together. And I had also, my context was also had shifted a little bit just with my way of being, because I had done this really intense training that really worked on my way of being. And so I sat there on the plane and I'm like, I know I'm doing this, like this is happening. And I get off the plane, and it turns out that the man that I had run over, he was on the plane. And so I went up to him and his daughter and the granddaughter, and I said, listen, like, you just changed my life, and I'm gonna spread peace. I'm gonna spread love in the world, and thank you so much. And he's just like, oh, okay, like slow down a little bit. And but I ended up getting his phone number and his address from his daughter, and then they left. And so I was in the leadership program, and I just immediately started working on this. So a year to the date after bumping into Don, his name was Don Worms. So after bumping into Don Worms, a year to the date, I had minted the tokens, I'd created the tracking website, and I drove to his house unannounced with token number 1, because I wanted to thank him for what he had created for me. And so I got to sit with this beautiful man and give him that token, and that day I decided, oh my God, like I am going to declare to do something crazy. I am going to give a token away every day for 365 days. And today's the first day, right? With Don. And I'm going to put it on YouTube. I'm going to share it with the world. Now, this was in 2007. So like, it wasn't really that popular, like mainstream, to share stuff on social media every day. And so I was like, this is what I'm doing. And so for the next 365 days, I would, walk around with tokens in my pocket. I had a camera in my hand, and I would just generate these moments of gratitude. I call them token moments, and document them, and then put them on YouTube. And you know, when you like when it's like New Year's and you decide like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, and 2 weeks into it, you're like, I'm failed. For some reason, though, with this, like declaring to do something every day for 365 days, there was something in me, you know, whether it was me being on purpose or, you know, just feeling like there was like my commitment to this was so much more powerful than my conversations of not doing it, or my racket, or my ego, or whatever you want to call it. And trust me, there were days where I woke up, you know, we all have those days where you're like, I just want to pull the covers over my head, and I definitely don't want to go out and like generate a moment of gratitude. But then there was something in me that was like, nope. It was almost like when you have a baby and they're really sick, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're gonna get up. Like it was like that. I just would get up and just go. And those ended up usually being the most powerful token moments, because I had to really like choose. I had to choose who to be in order to generate it. And so I didn't really know what was gonna like come out of all of this, what was going to come out of the, you know, standing in gratitude for 365 days, or giving these tokens away. But before I go on to share a little bit more about that and dig into what were the results that I created because of this, I would love to share the video. I made a video from the giving year, and I would love to share it with you. So I am going to clickety clack, and so make sure you have, you know, sound on and you can see it. And
I'm a one-way motorway. I'm a road that drives away, follows you back home. I'm a street light shining. I'm a white light blinding bright, burning off and on. It's times like these you learn to live again. It's times like these you give and give again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these, time again. I'm a new day rising. I'm a brand new sky to hang the stars upon tonight. I'm a little divided. Do I stay or run away? Leave it all behind. It's times like these you learn to live again. It's times like these you give and give again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these, time again. It's times like these you learn to live again. It's times like these you give and give again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these, time and time again. It's times like these you learn to live again. to live again. It's times like these, give and give again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these, time again.
So thank you for letting me share that. Thank you, Jared. I love the jazz. Actually, I used to hate the jazz hands, but I've learned to love them now. The clapping jazz hands. It's a beautiful thing. So now again, I said I didn't know what was going to come out of standing in gratitude like that, but gratitude is the foundation of abundance. So what started happening over time was slowly, like, my bank account started looking better, my relationships with people like became more rich, like everything in my life just started, like there was this sense of abundance that was creeping into my life. And I started generating results in my life, and we're going to come back to what those results were, so I'm not going to give to you yet. So before we go on, we're going to start by looking at vision again, because I told you how important vision was. So we're going to start jogging your vision and your goals. So we're going to do a little vision exercise. Yay! And don't worry, you get to type in the chat, so make sure you have your chat open. Because that's how you're going to participate. And so just for a moment, I want you to imagine, like, everyone that you see on this call, or even if you just see a name. And then even bigger than that, let's imagine everyone on the planet. And when we're born, we're actually born with this innate desire to be a contribution and to want to make a difference. It just comes natural for us, and then the world sort of like comes crashing down. But imagine if everyone on the planet, and the amazingness that would happen and manifest if all of our core true visions, how we want the world to be, how we want our families to be, how we want our life to be, if it actually turned out. Right? It doesn't matter what someone's wearing or how they look, or if you know them. Like, all human beings actually want something. They have vision for their kids or their families or their career or the world. So I want you to take a deep breath in. And I was actually going to play a song, but I'll put it on in a little bit. I didn't pull it up yet. So take a deep breath in. I didn't let you let it out. You're like, is she gonna let me blow it out? Okay. So I'm actually going to ask you to close your eyes. And so again, this is the time, if you want, you can turn off your video for this exercise. Some people don't like to sit on a video with closed eyes, right? So, and it's also not necessary. So go ahead and close your eyes and just take a few calm, deep breaths and get present. And I'm actually going to pull up a song while you guys do that. Sometimes we forget to breathe, so it's always good to do it. Let's do this one. Okay. Sorry. All right. So keep your eyes closed. And I want you to think of a vision or a goal that's important to you. And I'm not asking for like a vision that's going to take years or decades, to have happen. I want you to think, for this exercise, just pick something that you want to have happen in, let's say, 1 year. And it may support you if it's something that you've thought about lately or something that's related to why you got on this call in the first place, right? Maybe something you want. You can pick anything. Getting married, pregnant, finding your dream partner, running a marathon, starting a business, traveling to your favorite country, anything. And just get grounded in that vision. And some of you may already know what it is, right? Some of you are clear already what it is. And if you are clear, you could actually open your eyes if you're clear. The other ones, you can still keep your eyes closed. But if you're clear, you can open your eyes and you can, on the screen right now, it says write down your 1-year vision goal. So just in the chat, just share with us what it is, okay? And if you're still thinking about it, just keep your eyes closed and stay present. I want you to like visualize it, feel it, taste it. What is it that you want? And then as you get clear, you can open your eyes and you can type in the chat what it is. Travel to Spain. You can come visit me. Make my first album, be a fitness model. Create 2-second home with Beth in Colorado. Yes. Beautiful. I love it. Now, I want you to notice meaning I want to be in the best shape of my life. Okay, got it, Jared. I love it. I love it. So I want you to acknowledge yourself for doing it, right? And however, you want to acknowledge yourself. You can pat yourself on the shoulder. You can give yourself a high five. You can shower yourself with love, whatever. Just acknowledge yourself for whatever you did and just notice how that feels. How does it feel to acknowledge yourself? Do you ever do that? Do you ever stop yourself? Here comes someone. Like, do you ever stop yourself and go, oh my God, like, God damn it, I'm good. Like, I just did really well. Right? I just participated in this vision thing and I wrote in the chat, great job. Good job, Jo. I didn't just walk away, right? We don't do that enough. So just start noticing and noticing and noticing how you do you, how you are yourself, how you think, what's going on in your mind, and begin to watch yourself and notice how you do you. So we're going to move on. I'm going to put another prompt on the screen. And welcome, Shaz. What you can do is just presence a vision that you want to have happen within 1 year. And if you want to, you can share it in the chat. And then the next question is, I want you to write down 3 to 5 emotions or character traits or feelings that you would have if you had that vision or goal turned out. So like, imagine like whatever you wrote in there, make my first album or travel to Spain or and you're there. Imagine you're already there. It happened. What are some of the things that you would be experiencing, whether it's emotions or character traits, feelings? We call these ways of being in the training. Maybe you'd feel excited, happy, peaceful, or maybe you'd feel determined or vulnerable. Maybe, gratitude, accomplishment, and success. Beautiful, beautiful. And type that in the chat if you have 3 to 5 emotions. Triumphant, happy, adventurous, accomplished, satisfied, motivated, joy, creative, connected, happy. I love it. Beautiful. So let's keep going. I want you to think of 2 to 5 actions you would need to take this month or within the next few months to be on track for this goal, right? So if you think of some actions that may happen like in month 7, like it's okay, whatever the to-dos might be. Now, the reason I have 2 to 5 is because some of you are like really good doers and you have to-do lists everywhere and you already know what your 5 actions are. Feel free to put them in. Some of you might be harder to think of, like, oh, what's my first step here? Or my second step. So go ahead and share that in the chat. 2 to 5 actions that you know would have you be on track for this goal. Organize my time, save money. Yep. Beautiful. Focus, positive attitude. Yep. Just wait for a couple more. Already started the process. That being said, discipline and eat clean. Yes. See those muscles. Beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna, and if you're still typing, feel free to still let it come in the chat, but I'm gonna move on. So the next question is, write down 2 to 5 people or groups who could support you in having that vision or goal. And I see Nathan, build social media accounts, pay for DistroKid, start LLC, record. Awesome, Nathan. You got some clear steps for you to go. Cool. So write down 2 to 5 people or groups who would support you in having it happen, right? I want you to think of your support system. You know, it could be your mom, your coach, a Facebook group, a community, whomever or whatever, you know, that if you told them what you're up to, they would have you win. They wouldn't sell out on you. And I want you to share that in the chat. So it could be like Barbara, my mom, or Lisa, my coach, or, you know, my women's group on social media, or, you know, like mummy friends. Exactly. Family friends on a fitness chat. Yes. Charity Heart, Pathway Church Community Rehearsal Room. Great. Friend, wife, daughter, Emma group, neighbor. My mom, my best friend. Awesome. Now, notice if, you know, like as you were doing this, you guys were actually all pretty quick in thinking of your support system. Sometimes it can take a while for people to even think, like maybe you don't think of anyone, or maybe you think of too many, right? Or maybe you feel guilty you didn't put your husband or wife on the list, whatever comes up, right? Just, I want you to begin to notice your inner conversation, like what happens in your mind. And you guys are very awesome that you're interacting with me on the chat here, because it's definitely helping a lot. So so let me hear from some of you. So who would like to share the vision? You know, who will support you? What are some of the experience you'll actually experience once you have it come true? And what are some of the steps? And you know I'm going to call on someone if you don't raise a hand. So, okay, Jared, you knew that was going to happen, right?
Well, thank you for your story. I did not know that. I did take gratitude. I just wanted to say, and your story is the whole thing. Your video was amazing. That being said, when I was taking gratitude, I was one of the last people, or one of the last groups to take it before it shut down. It really changed my life. The community was unbelievable. And through the process, I decided I wanted to be a fitness model. I was comfortable enough believing that I have a certain look, and that if I build myself up and get stocky, that I can accomplish that. And the pandemic hit. And I struggle with depression, anxiety, and like many people, nothing I'm ashamed of. And I gave up. I stopped. It became too difficult. I got depressed. I found my life again, or I found myself again. And it's something I want to do. I want to be in the best. I will be 48 next Monday. I want to be in the best shape I could possibly be in, which is going to be difficult because I'm older and it's more difficult as you get older. I'm committed to it. And
trust me, I know it gets harder when you get older.
The ailments, the pain.
Yeah.
Accomplishing that for me would just be outstanding. So I have my whole life worked out. I usually have a 3-month threshold. I get to a certain point and then boom, something happens. I take a couple days off. So sticking to it and doing it for 365 days would, I just know that it would elevate me. I would definitely level up. I would be, everything else in my life would get better.
And what are some of the experience that, like, let's say that you had reached it, you're there, you're like top, in your 48 age group, in your weight, whatever, you're the top fitness model, right?
Awesome.
What do you, yeah. So like, what are some of the experiences that you experience if you imagine yourself on stage, or like it's here right now?
Gratitude and honestly wanting to share my experience and motivate and inspire other people. That's really where, well, I mean, of course I want to do it for me.
Well, you want to contribute.
I need to contribute, but I don't need anything. I would like to contribute to society, of course, and it makes me feel good to make other people feel good. Yes.
So if I said, okay, if you were to work out every day for 365 days, let's say you would reach this goal of becoming you changed it.
So, yeah, but because I got a little insecure.
I know. Let's just go for fitness.
No, fitness model.
Yes, let's all in.
For a minute. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So if you go to the gym 365 days a day in a year, let's say, and then you become a fitness model, and then you would experience, accomplishment, and you would want to contribute to others and support them in their journey. Would that be like a fair statement?
Correct.
Okay.
100.
Awesome. Would anyone else like to share? And we're going to get back to that, Jared, and you'll see when we move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give him a hand. All right. So let's move on. And I am going to pull up my slides again. Okay. All right. So, are you the victim, controller, or creator? So there are 3 ways that most people navigate life. And it's either using the patterns and beliefs of the victim, or the controller, or the creator. Now, most of the world tend to operate from the victim or the controller. Like, in fact, it's been so ingrained in all of us, like throughout time, that if we just rely on external things and we do more, we're going to eventually find joy and happiness. Right? So being happy has actually become like this conditional response to an external circumstance, rather than an emotion or experience innate within our very core, like this natural birthright to just be happy. I mean, kids just goo gaga, right? So let's look at these. Let's go into a little bit more detail here. So the victim. So the victim essentially wants the current reality to change before they can do and be something. So it'll be like, if I have the money, right? So you don't have money. If I have the money, then I'll be able to do my website and then I will be successful, right? Or if I have a life partner, then I would travel the world and then I would be happy. So it's relying on this, wanting the current reality to change. Like, oh, I don't have money, so I want money. So the current reality is no money, I want money, right? So the victim lives life as if life and the circumstances are in charge of the outcome. And we call this the have, do, be model. If or when I have, then I'll be able to do, and then I will be, right? Again, like when I have money, then I can dress better, and then I'll be sexy. You know, it can be simple stuff, right? Have, do, be. A victim cannot be successful or happy until something outside of them changes first. Right? So they're living life depending on others or depending on situations or circumstances to change. And in doing so, they actually have no power to create what it is that they want or reach their potential. Now, the controller actually also wants to change the current reality, but by doing more to have and be. So the controller operates from a do, have, be model. So the more they do, the more they're going to have, and then they will be happy and successful. Now, while the controller actually may get a lot of stuff done, right, and create a bunch of haves, it usually never produces an authentic be, like that authentic happiness or that authentic just peace or whatever it is that they really want to go for. And then they wonder why they still feel like empty or depressed and tired, right, despite actually kind of having what they wanted. And so then they end up doing more. They just got to do more. And yet never reaches happiness. So Jared, in your case, that's sort of like how the way I said, it's like if I do more, like if I go to the gym 365 days a year, every year, then I will have the body that I need, and then I will be contributing to the people, and I'll be proud and whatever, right? So let's go and look at the third one. And this is, again, the one that most people don't live by. And it's really the only one that actually works, authentically works. And it's the creator. And I also call it the win-winner. So the creator actually redesigns who they are first, so that they will inspire action and create results. Right? So how does the creator operate? So the creator actually adheres to the be, do, have model. For them, it's not about what I need to do or have to succeed. It's focused on who do I need to be in order to do and have what I want. So they kind of explore like what kind of person and what qualities would need to be present for me to have what I want. Right? So they focus on becoming or being, like the becoming or the being aspect, right? Who do I need to be? If I can be that person, what would I be doing? And then the having is inevitable, and it would actually take care of itself. So it's a be, do, have. If I be an author, if I get up in the morning and I drink coffee like I think an author would drink coffee, if I be an author, then I would actually do the writing every day. And before you know it, I would have a published book. So once you realize that nothing external and no amount of doing this will make you happy, you're actually going to become an opening to shift the victim or controller pattern and enter the world of the creator. Because the victim and controller resist the current reality, but the creator embraces the current reality through reinvention and redesign. Like the current reality is the creator's playground. And the reason I call it the win-winner is because if I put just winner, it can actually imply that there's a loser. But the win-winner is actually someone that wins, and as they win, they make sure that everyone around them win too. It's someone that comes from abundance, that there is enough for everyone. So what works is be, do, have. And again, most people operate from have, do, be, or do, have, be. But it's the be first. Then the doingness will be effortless and the having will take care of itself. Be. And now you might ask yourself, like, okay, where do I start, right? Like, how do I shift the way that I operate? Because it's based on the way who we're being. You know, a lot of it is on automatic and it's based on our past, right? So how do I actually start noticing that and shift the way that I operate to become the space to generate what it is that I want? Well, of course, one proven way to interrupt your racket is to some of you done the gratitude training, but now I have a 6-week Rewired for Peace course, which is essentially a redesigned part 1 of the gratitude training. So because Rewired for Peace is actually a course in beingness. It's a course that's going to like take dynamite to your doer and to your box and support you in starting to shift what is not producing what it is you say you want. So rather than how am I going to do this, how, let's begin to think of it as who. So whenever you go into a space of like, how am I going to handle this? Shift it to who. Who do I need to be to handle this? And step into that. Now, I am ready to give you the success formula. And we're getting into the gem of today's course. And it's called the Gratitude Success Formula. And as I mentioned before, in order to have this formula be most effective, it is essential that you have and are clear on a juicy vision, right? So like in 2007, when I bumped into Dawn Worms at the airport, right? In that moment, on some level, I declared to create gratitude and awakening in the world, right? Now it's expanded to world peace, my vision, but you know, I have high goals. But vision is like air to life, like it's like soil to fertilization. And once you know what it is for you, it's actually already in your it's already available. It's already here. But you can't see it. Like a lot of people think that, oh, well, my vision and goals are so far away, like they're outside of you, but they're not. They're actually, once you're getting clear on the vision, it's already available, but who you are and your actions are not allowing it to show to you or for you to bask in it. And so it's now your job, once you're clear on your vision, it's your job to match yourself. Who do I need to be? Match yourself and your actions to that vision for you to have it. So how do we do that? Okay. Well, it starts with context. So what is context? I'm going to actually do this real quick. There we go for the recording. It starts with context. So what is context? Let me put it to you this way. So I'm in Spain right now, and I also used to live in Florida. And if I wake up in the morning in either of those places and I look out the window and I see a palm tree, it's really no shocker, right? I'd be like, oh, there's a palm tree. Because Spain or Florida is an environment for palm trees to exist, right? Now, if I go to the North Pole and then one day I look out the window, I'm freezing, probably I look out the window and there's a palm tree, I'm going to be like, what is going on? Call the media, let me take a selfie, whatever, right? And now why is that? Because palm trees do not grow on the North Pole, right? Palm trees do not grow in the North. And why is that? Because it's not an environment for it to grow there. The North Pole is not an environment. It's not a space. It's not a context for palm tree to exist. So if I were to put that simply for you, the context is the environment for the content to exist. Now, us as human beings, we're like a walking context. We're a walking context because of who we're being and how we show up in life. It's what creates the environment for certain results and certain content to exist. So if I'm a context for abundance and a context for joy and gratitude, I'm going to have things in my life that exist in that context. You know, for instance, in the context of abundance, I would have enough. I would always have enough because I show up and I live from a context of abundance. And enoughness is the content that can exist in the context of abundance. So again, context is the environment that the content can exist in. And if you're not that environment, ladies and gentlemen, it cannot exist. You can try to plant as many palm trees as you want on the North Pole. It cannot exist. If you're a context for scarcity, you cannot have abundance in your life. It's impossible. And then you might be sitting there going, oh, I don't know, I have no money in my account. Oh, it doesn't work. And you know, it's pretty simple because it's like a simple formula. And I'm going to give it to you. But so context is a space, environment, or container in which certain things will thrive and certain things will not. Human beings are simply a context that attracts certain things that can exist and thrive into the space that we are. So again, context is the container. So it's not like you can say, oh, I want to be a context, period. Because it's not a thing in itself, it's a space. So the question would actually be a context for what? You know, it could be a context for love, context for relationship. It could be a context of fear, division, righteousness. It could be a context of abundance, peace. It could be anything. The context is just a container holding what the ingredients that's going to create that environment for you. Now you get to decide what you put in this container to create your external life and the results that you want. Right? So you're already a context. So now the question is, you got to ask yourself, what am I a context for? And I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're all a context for exactly what you have right now. For every single result you have right now, that's the context you are. The results will tell you where you're at. So in this very moment, you're being an environment for everything that shows up in your life. So let's say you're a business owner but you've been struggling to make ends meet. So the first thing you want to explore then is, what characteristics and what qualities are present in someone that has a thriving business? Who do I need to be? Right? Who do I need to be? What kind of person, what qualities would need to be present to have what I want? So if you want peace in your life and you go yell at the Starbucks barista every day because the coffee is not hot enough, I'm sorry, peace does not exist in that context. So you got to start watching yourself. You want to notice. That's why I keep saying, okay, now watch yourself. You notice yourself. Notice how you're acting. Notice, because you actually want to become aware of your own context. Because you're constantly projecting your externals. And if you see what you don't like, just know it's coming from you. It's coming from you. So think about your vision again. And rather than the feelings or the character traits that you imagine having after your vision turned out, instead, think about what kind of person and what ways of being and qualities need to be present to have what you want, right? And you don't have to write it because we only have about 15 minutes left, but just start pressing that. Like, okay, who do I need to be to have that? Who do I need to be to go to Spain? Who do I need to be to have a second house? Who do I need to be a fitness model, right? Like, who do I need to be? And then you can take an honest look at yourself, right? And just be like, shoot, I'm not that. If those are not present for you today, then you might need some more work. And you want to identify what those are and begin the journey to master those. And again, the Rewired for Peace 6-week course will support you with all the tools to have that transformation occur for you and for you to begin the journey to master these qualities. It's really a course in awareness of your beingness. And this can be very eye-opening because, you know, my vision is to create peace on the planet in my lifetime, yet 15 years into me declaring this, we have like a third world war brewing, right? So what do? I look at that. Oh, my result is a war in Ukraine, right? So what do? I look. There has to be areas in my life where I'm not being an expression of peace. And I look and I do the work to get to a 10 in all domains of my life, whether it's with the kids, with my wife on this call, at Starbucks, right? I am that important. You are that important. We all are. So from my story about TOFA, you know, I had already began working on my beingness as TOFA, so token of, that's my shortening for token of appreciation. So I'd already began working on how I was being, and because I just completed this trainings, right? like the one I'm offering too. So my context was already changing. So let's look at the next part of the question, the equation, sorry. Committed action, right? I declared to give a token out for 365 days and then took committed action to have it happen. And like I said, some days were not easy, but I did it anyway. My commitment was greater than my circumstances, my racket, that voice inside that wants to sabotage. So committed action is an action or way of being that is generated because of my commitments, because of my vision, and because of my promises, not because of my judgments or assessments or circumstances or feelings. So the next one is team. So because I was in I was in that leadership program when I started TOFA, I actually had that team of people that wouldn't sell out on me. They held me accountable. They cheered me on, right? So as content, okay, so as content, a team is a group of people working together under the umbrella of a common mission, purpose, and goal. Like that's kind of like something maybe you would see in a corporate manual, right? But as a context, so a team is also an entity. A team can also be a context. A community can be a context. A country can be a context, right? So as a context, a team is being unified, connected, understanding, contributing, supportive, accepting, and engaged, right? Committed to the common as well as the individual's goals and purposes. And then the question is, well, who do I want on my team? Right? So some of you put, you put your mom or your friend or whatever you put as the people that wouldn't sell out on you. Well, I want you to think about yourself for a moment, and I want you to think about what works for you, right? What works for you when you're like ready to create something? Like, do you need a champion? Do you need someone that just cheers you on and just, yes, you can, yes, you can, yes, you can? Are you that kind of person? Or do you need someone that challenges you? Like, I don't think you can do this. And you're like, yes, I can, right? Some people need the challenger. Or some people just need the quiet bystander. Like you want to pick up the phone and just rant for like an hour and you just want them to just listen, right? But that's going to have you go through it and have it happen. And I want you to think about the people you put down and also what it is that you actually need to create it. And do they match? And if they don't, you might want to add some more people to your team. Do you even know yourself well enough to know? Have you even thought about it? So there it is. So a solid vision, context plus committed action plus team creates extraordinary results. And so again, just as in the be, do, have, context, right? It starts with your beingness. Who do I need to be? And I know that this formula works because I was living it. So what are my results? Like the ones that when I walked into my part 1 training in 2007, the ones I couldn't even imagine, right? As I walked in there, the ones that were hanging out in the don't know realm of possibility. Well, because of living life within the success formula with a clear vision, and I sort of, on some level, kind of fell into it with the Don Worms incident, right? But this is what happened over the following 10 years. Like I created gratitude training in West Palm Beach. We had 10 people graduating the first class. And then I experienced massive growth. And in 10 years, the company had over 20,000 graduates. I had 25 employees, 20 trainers operating in 5 cities. I got married. I had 2 beautiful kids. Would have never thought. I bought my dream house on the water. I delivered keynotes across the US. And these are just a few, right? So I know that it works. And all it takes is a willingness to step outside the box and get committed to master the formula with a new context of, I don't know that I know, or I don't know that I don't know. Right? Simply put, just I don't know yet, but I'm open to finding out. Now, there's always another side to the coin, right? What happens? What do we do when the formula creates what we don't want? Like when life crashes down on us. Well, it's all about awareness and being responsible and not being a victim to it. So even in the moment we may feel victimized by COVID, division, war, the question is, can we be in it rather than of it? Can we be in it and not become it? Can we get aware and shift our way of being to generate what it is we want again? And absolutely we can. But this is where it gets hard. Because for me, when COVID hit, there are two narratives that can describe what happened for me. One is, I lost everything. I lost my business. Poor me. The fault is everybody else. The fault is outside of me. It's COVID's fault. It's my trainer's fault. It's, whatever, right? Or I can choose a story that will empower me and be willing to be wrong about how I had it, right? And it could sound something like this. So I know that when I started becoming successful, at some point I became complacent. And I also moved from being super excited and on fire in the training rooms, because we were growing so fast, I had to move into an office managing personalities and putting out fires. I was no longer happy. And so what did I do? What did my higher self do? My higher self went, okay, I created a hurricane that destroyed the whole headquarters. Well, that didn't work because little Jo was just like, I can do this. I'm going to take some SBA loans, disaster loans and whatever. Let's go. I can still, this is my vision. I'm going to save the world, right? So then I created a cyber bully harassing me for 2 years. Well, that didn't work because, little Jo was just like, I can do this. Sales were tanking because of this guy, right? I was so righteous about the how I thought it should look, my vision, right? Well, then I created a business partner to break with me. Well, that didn't work either. So then my higher self was like, Jesus Christ. What would have Jo get that she's not living her 10 life right now? Oh, I know, a pandemic. A pandemic, that's going to force her out, right? So at the end of the day, COVID actually showed me where I was being right in my business and showed me what my new commitments actually were. My vision's still the same. My way of being still the same. But there were two things in the formula that I wasn't willing to be flexible with: the committed action and team. Like I had some people on my team that should not have been on my team. And so whatever my ways of being, looking good or whatever, keeping some people that shouldn't be on my team, right? Or being flexible with my committed action, meaning like there might be other ways to peace than this training. So once I readjusted all that, and it took me 2 years. So Jared, it's okay that you do 3 months and then you stop, right? I now live in Spain. I live in Spain and with my family, and we've been here for a year, and I get to be with you awesome people on this call and in this completely new way. And I finally got inspired again to create, and I've created this course, and now I have people getting certified to teach it. And I mean, it's just unbelievable. So it works, and we just have to be reminded sometimes. So I know I covered a lot today, and you may have some questions. Like I've given you some insights and tools to use in your life, but let me answer the biggest question I get. And it goes something like, all right, I get it. I need to change my context to create the results I want. And I get now that it starts with my beingness or who I'm being. So how do I do that? How do I reframe everything that's been ingrained into my current being, the stuff that I'm even on automatic about, right? The stuff that's become my beliefs and the stuff that's become who I am. And my answer is simple. And I say it over and over again: do the training. Simply sign up for the 6 weeks training. And if you've done part 1 already or part 2 or ML, I think what I've noticed, because the last class we we finished yesterday, actually, there was 56 people in the class, and I would say probably 35-40% actually were people that came back to get a refresher. And it really, like, after being, in isolation and going through all the stuff for 2 years, and the community has been completely like separated and all the stuff, it really has helped them kind of to reawaken that, all the tools and all the stuff from the training. And so the training is normally $675, but I'm offering it like $475 on the site, but I'm offering it in these intros for $275 only. So do the training. And I don't know what else to say. Like, there are no magic wands, there are no quick fixes, there are no shortcuts. And I'm actually not interested in selling you any of that, because I know that this course will catapult you and the results, and it will create an army of powerful change makers, whether it's in your life or in the world. Because even if you're a powerful change maker in your family, it's going to affect the world. It does. There's no other way. So in a couple of hours, I'm going to send you an email with the recording from today and the link. But I just wanted to, I'm going to pull up the website so that you can kind of just get an idea of what it looks like. Oh, there we go. So it's Rewired for Peace. It's 6-week piece, and it's 6 weeks, and it starts October 11th, and it's Tuesdays, sort of like a long lunch hour. So it's Tuesdays Eastern time from 11:30 to 1:30, because I get to do it. I can't do it any later, or I have to be up till midnight and later, right? And so you have almost 2.5 days for the special $275 offer. So you can see that on the site here. You got some testimonials, how it works, and there's some bonuses if you sign up as well within this time period, which is you get part of the course, you get a weekly Q&A office hour. So because the training is over 6 weeks, in the middle of the week, you get to actually come in and I'll work with you guys and cover the distinctions and everything. And you also get access to private Facebook group with the group, and then my Source Movement online recorded course, which is a self-study recorded course. It's like an 8-week course, and that one alone is $275. So it's literally a value of almost $2,000, and it's only $275. And again, you could just come here and sign up if you're interested. And I would love to hear if you have any questions. And you know, I'm gonna pop this link in the chat too, so you have it now. But like I said, in a couple hours, you'll have it in your email too. Let me turn this off.
Jo, you will be, sorry, raise my hand.
Yeah.
You will be coaching the course?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll be coaching the course, and I right now in January I'm starting a certification course where people that have taken this, so this will be the third one I'm running, and people that have taken it actually can be certified to teach that online course, because it's very different than when you're in the room. And so my goal now, it's changed, my vision, or the way has changed. Rather than like, you know, the exclusiveness of like, here's gratitude and only people that live nearby can do it, whatever. I want this to spread like wildfire. And in order for that to happen, other people have to deliver it. And so eventually I'll probably only certify people, but for now I'm the one also running the courses.
Can we get into, and so in gratitude, my first thought was becoming a coach. I was so inspired and blown away by Chris and Barry.
Yeah.
That I wanted to inspire somebody the way they inspired me. That being said, the course price-wise, do you want to discuss that now, or would that be something
for the certification?
Certification.
Yeah, for the certification, actually, there was a special that was running that ended at midnight last night, but I can extend that to you, and it's $3,000. It's an 8-week course, $3,000, but it also includes the next class, because you have to take the class in order to be certified. So then you wouldn't have to pay the $275 to actually sign up for it. And
Gotcha.
I can email you the link where all the information is, because you can do payment plan, you can do payment plan, and you can also do $1,000 deposit and pay the rest by December. So there's
if I can have one follow-up question. To make that decision prior to taking the course, is that?
Well, you would, in order to sign up for the certification with the bonus right now, you'd have to put a deposit, and that would just grant you access to the course. Now, if you were to change your mind after the course, then I will refund whatever except for the 275. You see what I'm saying?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But you'd have to
Thank you.
decide that directly after the course and not like last minute,
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
And we already have 10 people signed up, and there's a lot of more people on the way. So it's going to be a really cool group of people.
Love it.
Yeah. Cool. Any other questions? I see I answered the time. So, all right. Well, thank you all so much. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you on October 11th. I know Nathan should be there on October 11th. So, and let me know if you have any questions. You could just go to the website and contact me that way. So thank you so much. Bye,
See you on
guys.
the 11th.
All
Thank you,
right.
Joe.
See you on the 11th. Bye.